Every single creature on this planet runs. That is not a choice. That is biology. When something bigger than you appears in your field of vision, your legs move before your brain even processes what you are looking at. A deer does not decide to run. It just runs. A rabbit does not weigh its options. It just runs. For millions of years, every human ancestor that ever lived did exactly the same thing. They ran. Every single time. Without exception. Without question. Because the ones who did not run did not survive long enough to have children. Running was not weakness. Running was the entire reason you are alive right now. But somewhere, around 400,000 years ago, something happened. Something that had never happened before in the entire history of creatures walking upright on this earth. One person, just one, did not run. We do not know who they were. We do not know if it was a man or a woman. We do not know which predator was in front of them. Maybe it was a cave lion. Maybe it was a short-faced bear. Maybe it was something we do not even have a name for anymore. What we do know, from the archaeological record, from the bones and the tools and the campsites left behind, is that at some point in deep human prehistory, something shifted. Humans stopped only running from predators and started standing their ground. Now here is the part that should genuinely get under your skin. The first time it happened, it almost certainly did not go well. Standing your ground against an apex predator when every animal instinct you have is screaming at you to flee is not brave. It is terrifying. Your hands are shaking. Your vision narrows. Your heart is doing something it has never done before. And the predator in front of you is confused. Because nothing, in the entire history of its species, has ever just stood there and looked back at it. Prey runs. That is the rule. That is the only rule. And something just broke it. Scientists who study predator behavior call this the confusion response. When a prey animal does something completely outside the expected behavioral script, a predator will often hesitate. Sometimes stop entirely. Sometimes retreat. Not because it is afraid of you, but because its entire hunting strategy depends on predictability. And you just became unpredictable. That hesitation, that single moment of confusion, was enough. And word spread. Not in the way words spread today, but in the way ancient knowledge always spread. Through watching. Through surviving. Through the elders telling the young ones what worked and what did not. Standing your ground. Making yourself large. Maintaining eye contact. Using fire. Using noise. These were not instincts. They were technologies. Learned by someone who was terrified. And survived anyway. And here is the thing that stays with me about this. That first person. Standing in the dark. Everything in their body screaming at them to run. Looking at something that could end them in seconds. And choosing not to move. They had no proof it would work. Nobody had ever done it before. There was no elder to ask. No story to reference. Just a decision made in the most terrifying moment of their life. That decision is the reason apex predators across the entire planet learn to fear humans. That decision is the reason wolves circle campsites instead of approaching them. That decision is the reason bears retreat when they hear a human voice. That decision passed down through thousands of generations of people who survived because they learned to stand still when everything told them to run, is still living inside you. Right now. The next time something terrifies you, and you do not run, that is not you being brave. That is 400,000 years of human stubbornness. Refusing to move.